The first time I saw her, I didn't even realize I had made a monumental mistake. The palace gardens of Aurelia were unlike anything I had studied or imagined. Bioluminescent flowers glowed softly in shades of violet and blue, their petals quivering as if breathing. Paths of polished obsidian twisted through streams of liquid crystal, reflecting the twin moons overhead. And there I was, a human in a tailored jumpsuit, trying desperately not to look out of place among the Zyphorians' ethereal elegance. I should have been careful. I should have been aware. But I wasn't. And so my foot came down squarely on something smooth and impossibly flexible. I froze. A sharp hiss cut through the air, followed by a rustle that made every hair on my neck stand on end. Slowly I looked up and my heart stopped. The alien princess stood before me. Her skin shimmered like liquid silver, her eyes a radiant violet that seemed to peer straight into my mind. A long, elegant tail, vibrant with bioluminescent patterns, twitched under my careless step, and she glared at me with a mixture of fury and fascination. You will be mine, human," she declared, her voice smooth and commanding, yet carrying an undercurrent of playful menace. I opened my mouth to apologize, but no words came out. I had never been claimed before, not in any sense of the word, and certainly not by someone who looked like a being out of legend. Her tail flicked once, the motion sharp and deliberate. She vanished in a blur, leaving a faint trail of luminescent light curling through the air. I stumbled backward, trying to process what had just happened. Did she just claim me? I muttered to myself. Apparently, yes, that was a thing here. And now I was the center of the princess's attention. Forced proximity. The next days were a nightmare of etiquette, misunderstandings, and bizarre coincidences. It seemed the universe had conspired to keep me near her. Every time I tried to move freely, some guard or protocol officer intervened, redirecting me toward her presence. The first dinner was the worst. I sat in the wrong seat, and a minor slip caused her to spill a glowing nectar across the floor. Lyra's eyes narrowed, and the court gasped. She approached slowly, each step deliberate, tail curling around her like a living ribbon. "You humans are clumsy," she said, though the corners of her mouth hinted at amusement. She reached out and lightly touched my shoulder, an alien gesture that sent a shiver down my spine. "But you are interesting." I could barely form coherent thoughts. Her gaze was intense, probing, but not hostile. She was sizing me up, testing me. Over the following weeks, I was dragged into palace ceremonies, training sessions, and cultural rituals that left me dizzy. The Zyphorians were not just beautiful. They were precise, elegant, and utterly alien in ways I could barely comprehend. And the more I learned, the more I realized how deliberate Lyra's claim was. She wasn't just asserting dominance. She was observing, evaluating, and liking me. It didn't help that she had a flair for dramatic entrances. She would appear suddenly, sometimes in mid-training, sometimes in the gardens, always making her presence known with a flick of her tail, and a gaze that made me feel like the only human in the universe. One evening, during a ceremonial dance, I nearly fell again. Lyra caught me mid-fall, her hands warm and firm. Our eyes locked, and for the first time, I noticed a subtle softness in her expression. "You are more than you seem," she whispered, her tail curling around my wrist in a gesture of possession and trust. Danger and adventure. Of course, being the human claimed by the alien princess was not without peril. Political factions within the palace viewed me with suspicion. Some argued that no human could understand the intricacies of Xiphorian culture, let alone influence their royal lineage. Then there were external threats. One night, during a festival celebrating the twin moons, palace alarms blared. A rival faction of Xiphorian nobles had infiltrated the gardens, intent on abducting the princess. I had no choice but to act. Instinct took over. I ducked, rolled, and grabbed a ceremonial energy blade from a nearby stand, something I had only studied in theory. The intruders were fast, but I was faster. Somehow, through a mix of luck and adrenaline, I managed to intercept one of their attacks aimed at Lyra. She froze for a moment, her violet eyes wide with surprise. Then, slowly, a smile spread across her face. "You saved me," she said, and her voice had changed, softer, warmer, almost human in tone. "You are mine in more ways than one, human." That night, after the intruders were captured, we sat in the palace gardens. She leaned against me, her tail brushing mine, a gesture that conveyed more affection than words could. "You are bold," she said, her eyes glinting in the moonlight. "Most humans would have run. You did not. That is why I claimed you." And for the first time, I understood the weight of her words. Being claimed by the princess was not just a declaration. It was a bond, one that tied our fates together. The turning point came during the crisis of the Crystal Spires, a catastrophic event that threatened to collapse part of the palace. Energy storms tore through the gardens, and the luminous plants began to ignite spontaneously. Lyra and I were trapped on a balcony overlooking the cascading chaos. She turned to me, eyes wide with fear, the first time I had seen her vulnerable. "Human, I need you," she said, and the words carried a weight I could not ignore. Without hesitation, I grabbed her hand, pulling her towards safety. Her tail wrapped around mine, and in that strange, alien touch, I felt a pulse, a psychic bond of trust and attachment. We survived the storm, and as the chaos settled, Lyra finally admitted what I had suspected all along. "I claimed you because I saw something in you, something rare, courage, curiosity, heart, and I could not resist." Her tail brushed against my chest, delicate but firm. The gesture was intimate, almost tender, and I realized I felt the same way. My heart, which had raced with fear and awe, now pounded with desire and affection. "I feel the same," I said, and in that moment, all the barriers between human and Xiphorian dissolved. Resolution and new beginnings. The palace recovered, and I was formally recognized as Lyra's consort. Court members murmured, and the advisors nodded, acknowledging that the human claimed by the princess was now part of the royal protocol. Life with Lyra was challenging. Cultural differences abounded, from me accidentally insulting a ritual to her correcting me with a mischievous smirk. But there was laughter, discovery, and a growing connection that transcended worlds. One evening, as we walked along the luminescent river, she stopped and looked at me, violet eyes glowing softly. "Do you understand, human?" she asked. "You are mine, yes, but I am also yours. This bond is mutual." I nodded, smiling despite the alien strangeness of it all. Her hand found mine, and her tail curled around my wrist once more, not possessively, but affectionately. And in that moment, I knew that my life had changed forever. From a single misstep in a palace garden, I had found love, adventure, and a bond that spanned species, planets, and stars. The universe was vast, unpredictable, and dangerous, but with Lyra by my side, I was ready to face it all. As we walked toward the palace, ready for whatever new adventures awaited, I glanced at her and smiled. "You're impossible," I said. "And you are human," she replied, her lips curling into a teasing smile. "But you are mine, forever." Her tail flicked playfully, brushing against mine once more, and I laughed. I had no idea what challenges lay ahead: rival factions, interstellar politics, alien mysteries. But one thing was certain: this was only the beginning. And somehow, stepping on her tail had been the best mistake I ever made.